I'm Rob, and welcome to Axel's Garage. Alright, well today we got a for sale, but it's not one of those cars that we bought just to hang out and do some projects with and get rid of. This is actually one of our family cars, and it's Grandma Rose's 2002 Volkswagen Passat. Now we bought this car new for Grandma Rose after her Eldorado, her 85 cool 80s Eldorado with a cabriolet roof. Awesome car. After that one crapped out, we got Grandma Rose this one, and we got Grandma this. She wanted a Nissan Altima, and we drove the Altima and thought it was kind of a cheesy car. And then we found this one that looked, back in 2002, they looked very similar, and we drove this, and it drove like it was solid, it was fast, it was awesome. We spent probably double what we could have paid on the Altima for Grandma, and she's been driving it since 2002. She's 91 years old right now, so you do the math. You want a car that was driven by an old woman? Well, this is it, because where did Grandma go? Grandma went from her house to my house, that's a mile, and then from our house to the grocery store, 3/4 of a mile, then from the grocery store to our house to bring us groceries, and then from our house to get our hair done, back home. So guess what? 2002, 43,000 old lady freaking miles. That's what this thing has. Now, the big dummy did learn how to drive in this car and took his road test in the car because it was the smallest one in the family. And my oldest daughter learned how to drive in this car and took her road test in this car because, again, small. Now, it does have some quirks and it does have some issues, and we're going to go over those things. The history of the car, it's purchased new. It's been serviced at Volkswagen its whole entire life. All the recalls were done on the vehicle, and it's never been wrecked. However, it has been repainted, and it was repainted one time because of a hail, on Long Island in New York, we don't get hailstorms. And we got this freak hailstorm this is about 6 or 8 years ago now. Got this freak hailstorm. The body shops were doing business like crazy, so were the roofing companies, because we don't get that kind of shit weather over here, and we did. We got this hailstorm, and it screwed everybody's cars up, and everybody's roofs up, and of course the planes are flying overhead while I'm trying to shoot this video. So anyway, we got this 2002 Passat about 2 years ago. It started having a little issue with the check engine light. The check engine light would come on, and I need to come over and check the code, or Grandma would go over to the local mechanic that we use, and he would check the code and clear the code. And it was a transmission code, and I believe it was a solenoid in the transmission. It wasn't affecting the function of the vehicle, so she thought. And we'd get it cleared, and it would stay cleared for 3 to 6 months, maybe even longer, and then it would come back on and get them cleared. And that probably went on for 2 or 3 years. The problem was that code is a very common Volkswagen code, and it goes back to the transmission control module. Transmission control module is in the floor on these vehicles, and they have a water drainage issue, and those transmission control modules are the computers for the transmission. They get wet, and if you Google up 2002 Passat TCM, or wet TCM, or water TCM, you'll get tons of information on those wet TCMs. Now you can buy a new TCM from the dealer. You can get rebuilt TCMs for about $200 and try to screw with it. So now what happened with this one is it eventually got bad enough where the check engine light won't go off. And here in communist New York, outside of the city limits, we're in what's called the tri-state area, you have to get emissions done on a car even this old. And because that check engine light's on and we can't get it off, it does not pass emissions inspection, so we can't get it inspected, and we can't really use it. And Grandma at 91 has decided that she no longer wants to drive because her eyesight's not as good as it usually is. That's probably a good thing for everybody else on the road anyway. But she never hit anything with it. We do have a little body damage. I'm going to show you that. The big dummy actually rolled into it when he was parking. It wasn't really an accident. He pulled up behind it, and before he put it in park, he took his, it's a funny story, and I'm not going to get into it right now. But anyway, he hit it at idle speed and hit the trunk and dented the trunk up, but it still works fine. The car actually runs like a bat out of hell. It's got a check engine light on. And it runs really well. The thing is, it's in third gear, always. So when you put it in drive, it's in third gear. And because it's that 1.8 4-cylinder turbo, it actually drives really well, even though it's stuck in third gear. Highway, we tried it. Around town, we tried it, and it's driving really well. Everything else works as it should. It's got 2 codes that it's spitting out, and I'm going to put a picture in right now of those 2 codes. Okay, now those are the 2 codes. The first one is the transmission code that we were getting over the years, that we were resetting. And now the second one, when it got worse, when we can't turn the engine light off, is that computer connection code. And it's all because of water getting into the TCM, and that screws up the whole computer stuff in the vehicle. To take it to Volkswagen to get it fixed, it is expensive. I don't have the time to futz with it and try to get a rebuilt computer and dry everything out and futz with it. I just figured that either a Volkswagen mechanic, somebody that wants to tinker with it, would enjoy the car, somebody that doesn't need an emissions inspection. For a new driver, this is like a perfect car because you're well protected, and it's not a huge car. Or if you want to part it out, really. It's a shame to part something like this out, 43,000 miles. The interior is beautiful. It's loaded with every option they had back in 2002. You could probably make a fortune parting this car out. We're asking $1,500 for it. We just don't have the time to really deal with it, and being that Grandma's not driving anymore, it's not something that we need to get rid of this to replace something else. She's not driving. So I'm going to take the camera away from Emily. Emily's first time on the camera. I'm going to take the camera away from Emily, and I'm going to show you the car. All right, so 2002 Passat. It's got the normal hazy headlights that Volkswagen is known for. It's got a couple little dings on the body. You got something right here. One up here. The paint's really not in bad shape, and the dings, because of the gray color, aren't all that noticeable. The wheels, are a little scratched up because that's how Grandma parks. The tires are fairly new. All right, the car itself, it's a decent looking car. Then you get back here. This is where the big dummy tagged it with his K5, and you can see we got a dent right here and a dent on this side. Trunk still opens well, and then over on the passenger side, same thing. You got some scratches on the wheels. I think the tires are about a year old, maybe 2 years old, but they don't have much miles on them at all. As Grandma started to get a little bit older, she didn't drive as much. Not that she drove a lot, but 43,000 miles. This car has not been detailed or anything like that. You can see where Grandma lives, there's a lot of trees, and the tree crap gets all over the car. So all I did was wash it off this morning. No detail or anything like that. Over on the inside, it's got a black leather interior with heated seats. It's got a sunroof, power sunroof. It's got the sport shift transmission, so it's an automatic that you can shift manually. Because, Grandma Rose needed the sport shift so she could do some manual shifting as she was going to get her hair done. Alright, in the back, you got a nice size seat with that center thing there, and this seat does fold down so that you could make your trunk bigger. I don't think we've ever actually done that. And then it's also got that Volkswagen sunshade thing on the back window. I don't think that's ever been used either. Alright, let me pop the trunk here. Okay, back in the trunk. Alright. There is, she put carpet in there because she didn't want to get the trunk dirty. But this is a carnivorous trunk, and when you fold those seats down, you can see back there the little hinges to fold the seats down. The trunk is huge. And the spare looks like it's never been out of this well back here. Original jack is over there. There's a 12-volt power outlet back there. I didn't even know that was there. Oh, it's been back there all along. I had no idea. And then there's some kind of compartment here with something in it. I don't even know what that is. All right, under the hood, it's got the Volkswagen 1.8 turbo. Nothing fancy, standard engine. And that's it. Why don't we go for a ride? All right, so sitting in the car, we got the air on. You can see we have a check engine light, we have a doohickey light here, and we have an airbag light over there. From what they told us at Volkswagen, all the stuff like the airbag and all that, everything works. It's just because of this wet computer malfunction that's causing all these warning lights to come on. Everything in the car works. It runs fine. The fuel mileage is fine. Everything like that's working. So we're gonna go for a ride. I haven't driven this in a while. So we're gonna go for a ride. Like I said, it's in third gear all the time. So I put it in drive, it's in third gear, but it actually drives really nice. So it doesn't blast off the line because it is in third gear, but it's such a small car that, you know, Grandma drove it for a few years not knowing that it was in third gear all the time. And it drives really good. It's got like no rattles, no shakes, no anything. The brakes are good. The steering's tight. It feels like you're driving a new car. It's actually quite impressive for a car that's, I don't know, 15, 18 years old, whatever it is, with 2002 to, what do you think, Em? What's that math?
I don't know.
She's not even gonna try. And the way it's geared, I mean, even third gear on the highway, it's not revving out. So if you live in an area that doesn't require emissions inspection, so you could get it inspected with a check engine light on, this thing is a home run. And especially for a first-time driver, because it's not a blast off the line because it is in third gear. So you want one of your kids to try driving in something that's really safe, that they can't really screw around with too much. This is it. Everything works. The air conditioning's nice and cold. The heated seats work really well, and I think, are they on? Yeah. My ass was getting hot. Were you getting hot?
No.
Show down here. The heated seats are on. My ass is burning. Holy cow. All right, so yeah, 43,293 miles. Dealer serviced. It's just too bad that Volkswagen made such a crappy design with water getting into where they put the computers on the thing. But the car really runs well. It's incredible. It's just that, you know, if we didn't have to inspect this for emissions as a 2002, you know, my kids could be driving this car quite easily. It's just that New York is such a communist state, and, you know, actually, if you live in upstate New York, you're good with this because you don't need emissions inspection up there. But when you're over here, you need it. We're in the shadows of New York City, and because of that, we have to get emissions inspections. So that was our quick ride. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got a sense for what the car is. It really is a good car. Like I said, if we didn't live in an area where we needed that check engine light to be off in order to get it inspected, I'm going to get this car inspected. It's very inexpensive to insure, and I got the twins. One's behind the camera, and then we got the little big dummy. They're going to be 16 in about 8 months, and this could be the car that they learn how to drive in, and then maybe one of them's driving that after they get their license. But because of that whole check engine light inspection issue, we're not doing it. I don't have the time to start troubleshooting and playing with the computers. I don't have the time to part it out. I mean, the leather interior alone will get you back double what you paid for it. $1,500 bucks. This is the only real damage, and this is the big dummy. You really want to know what happened? We'll tell you what happened. All right, the big dummy pulls up behind Grandma Rose's car, parked in the street, and it's at night on Halloween, and he's sitting in his car on his phone before he got out of the car to come in the house. And Michelle, baby mama, she sees him outside, so she sneaks up on him at night, Halloween, and she taps on the window and then gives him one of the, in the side window. Well, the big dummy jumped, took his foot off the brake, hadn't put it in park yet, and rolled right into the back of Grandma's car. And that's the true story. That's what happened. So, so put a dent here, and it made the flexible bumper paint crack like crazy. But I mean, everything still works. We got pissed about it, and then we laughed about it. And what are you gonna do? So, Grandma's car, $1,500. It's a deal. Come look at it. I'm gonna put a link in the description below for the Craigslist ad. This way you can see. I'll upload a bunch of pictures. You can put the picture. You'll look at the pictures. I'll also upload pictures of the codes that are coming up. And probably if you buy it, Grandma will probably make you lunch and some hot cocoa, because that's what she does. And rice pudding, right? She loves making rice pudding. So if you like rice pudding, $1,500, lunch with Grandma, can't beat it. That's it from Axel's Garage today. Finally selling one of the family cars. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up. If you're not familiar with the Axel's Garage channel, check out our videos, subscribe to our channel, and as always, thanks for watching.